Welcome to my map making tutorial for getting over at Scratch Edition. In this video, I'm going to cover the basics, then show you how to make some more advanced mechanics, including how to mod the game physics. So I'm going to start off with the original game, just in case you remixed this game already and began making a map. But if you haven't done so, then I would recommend going to the mod pack or some variation with recording features. So, first thing I'm going to do is remix the project, and then I will show you how to fix the level bug known as the flying bug, because you cannot go straight into the level costumes and start editing them due to a little bug. The first thing you have to do is create a costume that is the size of the level. So I'll do it like that and call it big. Then I'll just go to the level code, find this go to XY block. I'm going to make a variable called last costume for the sprite only. And I'm going to set last costume before setting the position there. I'm going to set last costume to costume name. Then I'm going to switch costume to big before positioning. Then after positioning, I'm going to switch costume to last costume. So the reason why that works is because Scratch has a fencing limit in which if you try to put like a small costume outside of the stage, it's going to get stuck on the edge. And that messes up the positioning code. So by using a costume that is the size of the screen, it solves that problem. So at this point, you can go into the costumes and start making your map. So I'm going to go to 0x0x because that's where you spawn. And I can make some stuff here. And I'm going to go into the game and see if that worked. And there you go. New level. Let's say I want to go to this part of the level here, which is to the right of this. So I'm just going to go here. The first number is the x value, so I'm just going to put 1x0x. Oh, that's negative 1x. Here's 1x0x, which is to the right. And if I want to go to the left, then it would be negative 1x0x. And if I want to go, let's say, up from here, we can go to the second number, which is the y value. But it looks like only negative 1x exists right now, so I can just make a new costume called 1x1x. And make a new level. I'm going to hit reset, and then, yeah, we have some stuff high up here now. You'll notice there was actually a little bug there. So that's just due to the level code being a little weird. The thing about it is that you have to move around the level and then come back in order for it to reload the correct costume. And that is fixed if you use a recording project. Now I can also show you how to fix it manually here. It's not too bad. First, I'm just going to make a position level custom block because these two scripts here and here are just copies, so it's kind of inefficient to have two of them. So position it. The way this works, this is also a bad idea to have in here, and I'm not going to use the costume variable in here. So it positions it where it's supposed to be based on its chunk number. Then it sets T, which I think stands for temporary variable, to the costume name that it would potentially have. Then it checks if it exists. So this is going to do something different. We're going to say switch costume, because this is a little different. So switch costume to T. We're going to see if it exists by trying to switch costume to T, and then checking if the costume name is equal to T. If it does exists, we're going to show. If it does not exist, we're going to hide. We don't need any of this. So at this point, everything should work normally. And that thing that was happening shouldn't happen anymore. I don't need that either. And yeah, get rid of the local variables. That's Scratch add-ons, by the way. If you don't have it, you should totally get it. Makes your life way easier. Okay. So now I'm going to get into some slightly more advanced map making stuff. So first of all, you're probably going to want the ability to fly around your map. So you can go to the player code, find the when I receive take player, and just change this to your username. So now when you press W, you're going to fly around the map. If you're on mobile, that might be a little harder. So I'm not really going to cover that right now. If you want to change the gravity, that's going to be over in the gravity custom block. So let's say you want to make it twice as much gravity. You can just make that twice as much. Now I have twice as much. Also, if you want the space to not exist, first of all, I'm going to go to game loop and change the spawn position. QR, and now I'm up here.
And starting over.
So you'll notice once you get high enough, doesn't matter what the level looks like, it's still going to get stuck in space at this point. So all you have to do is go to gravity and change this number here. So let's just make it bigger so that space is higher. And now we still have normal gravity up here. And then if you go high enough, you are going to win, which is at player Y 16,000 or higher, or more than 16,000. There's actually two places you need to change here. You need to change the gravity here, and you also need to go to game loop and make this value higher. This is the code that actually makes you win. So at this point, if I go super high to the win condition, it's not going to be there anymore. So that's in case you want to make your level really high. Let's say you want your... let me put this back at the normal spawn, 0, 100. Okay. If you'll notice that there's invisible walls over here. There is one to the left and right. So let's say you wanted your level to go to the left, but that's in the way. Go to the tick custom block, and we have these two if statements right here. Just get rid of them, and the walls will be gone.
This game is a recreation of a game that came out in 2017, titled...
And finally, if you want to go down farther, there's a few things you need to change. You'll go to game loop. This is the script that resets you, so you could just get rid of that. Now I'm not going to get reset when I fall into the water. You'll notice the camera is not following me anymore though, because if you go to when I receive take player, there's a camera script right here. Camera Y is more than 0, set camera Y to 0, we'll just get rid of that. And now it works. And then to get rid of the water, we could just hide it. And to get rid of the sound when you fall in the water, you go to move hammer,
on a 480 by 360 pixel stage,
and get rid of that.
But these very restrictions force us to experiment, to think out of the box, to grow as developers as we become masters of
looking
all
good.
Scratch. And let's not forget.
So if you want to make some backgrounds, you'll notice there's already some backgrounds in this in the original game. There's one called background and one called comment. Comment is just this guy. So the background is one that loops. So there's only one costume in here. Well, these are all unused. There's only one costume in here that's used, and it just loops for every screen.
When you start getting over it.
This one will work if you want to make a individual object. So let's just say we have some background here. Change the font, make it bigger.
That initial blank slate is both
You don't want to go
refreshing and
outside of the
scary.
screen. This applies to any of these
If we could
3
travel
sprites. You
forward
don't
in
want to go
time,
outside
how
of
would you
this
want the
screen. I'll
finished
show you
project to
why.
see how well
First
it
of all, I
turned
need
out?
this to be positioned
I
somewhere.
certainly
I'll
wish
just
we
put
could.
this a
The real draw of
1x2x.
gives it that special
Or
zing.
actually, in this case,
It's a
it's just going to be
challenge of accomplishing
1x2.
something
It's
you've
just
never done
named a little
before.
differently in the sprite.
At this point, you don't want to fall into the trap of
This one
rushing
also
into
doesn't
creating
have the
loads of
big
content,
costume, so you'll see it
designing all
got
the
stuck
levels,
at
the player
the
costumes,
screen here.
all the
So
easiest
first
steps
fix
that can
is to
protect
not
the
make it that big.
No, before all that,
And if you do want it that big, I
halt
can
and
show
break
you
that tree.
afterwards how to do that.
That is understanding the coding
But now
difficulties you're
it'll
expected
behave
to face.
normally
Try
on
out
the
any
sides.
ideas to
To
solve
make
them.
it behave normally,
You may not be able to
otherwise, we just
At
need a
least
big
this way you
costume,
get a
so I'll
good
just make a
idea
big
how well
costume
your
for
project
this
is
guy.
going to go, and potentially save yourself a lot of time.
Big. And do
This
the same
project began
thing.
life a couple of months ago
This code is
as
very
3
similar.
simple scripts. The player, hammer,
So
and
yeah, just make the
I spent
last
no time on the
costume.
art, just using scratch.mit and a few rectangles
For this
drawn
sprite
on the sprite
only.
The scripts for the
Set
player
last
quickly mocked up in a similar
costume
fashion to those I teach on my YouTube channel.
to
With the
costume
hammer, I had to
name.
improvise because I'd never done anything quite like that before.
Switch
The boy would
costume
prod and poke at those
to
scripts.
big. Then
What I'd
switch
imagined, the
costume
results I was achieving
to
were hard
last
to reconcile.
costume.
The hammer and the player sprites would get stuck in the walls and ground, shake and jiggle and clip up to the top of the
And
screen.
yeah, the same thing
Most
that
of
was
all, when I
happening
tried
before
the
is going to
utter
happen
action
here,
of lifting the
where you
player
need to move
up
around
on
for
the
it to
hammer.
update.
Any tiny movement would throw the player into a crazy up and
I
down motion as
could
if bouncing upon a possessed pogo stick. Things don't always
copy.
turn out as you want them to, and sometimes it's good to take a break.
And this one doesn't have when I receive center,
I shelved the
because that's
project,
for the physics.
letting it slowly slip
So we
down
just
the
need this
list of
here.
unshared projects, joining the countless
And
multitude
this
of
one has the
unfinished
X on it, so I'm
unseen
just going to
projects
fix these
that
up.
haunt the vast
to have
storage
X's.
archives of MIT.
And yeah, now it's gonna work all good. So now it updates in
As
real
you've been playing
time,
this game,
and this is
stop
gonna
to
look
wonder
correct.
how you can balance on a hammer that
Now,
is
if you
held
do
out
want to
on
make
your
this
side.
big,
It feels quite natural in game.
there's
but
actually
try
a
it in the
couple
real
things you
world,
could do.
and you'll not get your feet
So,
off the ground.
One way
No, this game is bending the rules
is
of
to
physics.
split it up into multiple costumes.
Although I was not
So let's
actively
just say
working
I
on the
want it to be
project,
this big.
the desire to code the game
I'm
and
going to
solve the
duplicate
initial
this
problems
sprite. I'm
constantly
gonna
played on my
make
mind.
a new
Finally, I
costume
decided to give it another go.
that is 1 to the right. I'm gonna hit the equal sign, select
Research
everything.
is a powerful
I'm
tool.
going to
Don't just rely
actually
on what
first
you
I'm
think
gonna
you
make a
know.
little marker here.
YouTube can be
I'm
a
gonna
great
mark
resource for
the
gameplay
edge of the
videos.
costume.
Being able to pause and rewind the action.
Then I'm going to
Sometimes
select all with Control A, and I'm
you
going
know,
to
you can
shift
step through
left
videos
arrow
frame by
until it
frame
hits the
using
other
angled
side,
bracket
shift
keys.
right arrow once, and right
Research
arrow
helped
without
confirm
shift
many
once.
thoughts I'd been having, and also uncovered some nuances around mouse movement that had really
Now
got me
that is going to
stumped.
be in the exact same
All this
position
was
as the
food for
other
my
one,
brain,
except
and
that
a
it now
super fire
exists in the
living
other
all to
screen.
Scratch. And so, back in Scratch, I completely
Another way you
restructured
could do
player
this
and
is
hammer
by
scripts,
creating a new
putting
sprite.
the scripts together in a single
I'm just
sprite.
going to make a new sprite here.
This
I'm
allowed
just going to
the
call
movement of
this,
two objects to be tracked together and to move dependent on each other.
I don't know, big
Of course, in coding
background
and real life,
object.
you often have to compromise.
Very creative.
It isn't reasonable
Let's make a
to
big
implement a
background
full physics
object.
engine in
I'm going to
Scratch,
zoom out.
but often
Gonna
it's
make a
enough
nice
to create a good
rectangle.
estimate of what the players expect.
Gonna make it diagonal. I'm gonna
1 plus 1 is 2.
now go to the code.
If this wasn't always the case,
When I
if
receive
sometime
position
the answer was
level,
3, then we would be in trouble.
first thing you need to do actually
This
is
operator
create a big
therefore referred
costume.
to as deterministic.
Now
Similarly,
it needs to be
Scratch,
bigger than
if a
all
player
other
sprite
costumes in the
or
sprite.
set isn't touching the level, then
So
you
I'm just
expect,
gonna copy
assuming the
this
player
and
is not
then
moved relative to the level,
make
that this
it
would
even
continue
bigger.
to be the case. As it turns out, the sensing block in Scratch does not behave like this. It can be
When I
non-deterministic.
receive position level,
This is
switch
down to how
costume to
Scratch
big,
draws its sprites.
go
Their
to
size and shape can change
say,
only slightly depending where on the screen
1000,
they're
1000,
visualized.
which is going to be a few screens up
This
and
can
right.
easily break a
And then
carefully
switch
crafted
costume
platforming
to
script, resulting in sprites
costume
becoming
1.
trapped, teleporting to the edge of the screen, or worse of all, your game freezing up. One
So I go
solution
up
I'm
and
fond of
right
using
from the
is to create
beginning.
a short fix-up
Should
script
find
that,
this in the
on
background
detecting an
somewhere.
unexpected collision, moves the sprite this way and that
working?
in an ordered pattern until it finds a spot
Let's
close
see.
by where the sprite no longer
Oh, yeah,
reports
no,
as
I missed
touching the
something.
level. This is an
This needs to be
important feature in
subtracted
this
from
game.
camera.
It should go
Or this
completely
camera needs to
unnoticed the
subtract
player,
from it.
but without it,
so that
the
it
game
scrolls
could go
correctly.
horribly wrong. And now the final climb. I'm sorry to say goodbye.
Camera X and camera Y.
Thanks for playing my game.
Let's try that again.
Time. Up the tree
There we go. You'll notice this is actually in the
End
foreground.
sight.
That's because when you make a new
Past the
sprite, it
sky
goes
go.
to the front level,
You
or
should
the
drift into
front
the night.
layer. If I want that to go to the back layer, I can just go to back layer. You'll notice the dots are actually in front of it now, so I could just go like forward, 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 forward. And now it's in the correct layer. Maybe make that a little bit different color. There we go. Oh, yeah, and you'll also notice that it's scrolling at a different rate than the text there. So, for that to happen, you can take inspiration from how these work. Where? Oh, position it. Hold on, I need to clean up blocks. There we go. Yeah, it just divides the camera here by 1.5. So that basically makes camera... dividing by 1.5 makes camera a smaller number, and that just means that this position is going to change less quickly. So that means that it's not going to scroll as fast. So I could just as well multiply these by like 0.5, and it would have the same effect, although in this case, since dividing by 1.5 is the same as multiplying by 0.6667, this is going to be a bit slower. Yeah, that's pretty big. Not sure where the text went. There it is. Oh, it appears there's a bit of a layering bug there. Get rid of these. So I notice often that these can have problems because these are completely unnecessary, these little layering blocks. Same as for limbs. Click the flag, maybe? That sometimes scripts don't actually update until you click the flag on Scratch.
There's no feeling more
yeah.
intense than starting over.
Okay, clicking the flag fixed it. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Moments after you've shared it, as I have.
Okay,
spent hours working on a project, only to notice too late that one of your sprites has unexplainably
I'll show you how to make a win condition, since you'll need to know how to do that if you want to finish your level. Let's just say I want it to win if I get on top of the second branch here on the if else, for example. So I'm going to go to game loop.
If you've made real progress coding a game,
I'm going to go to
only to come back the next day to
this block over here.
Even logged in.
I'm going to change it to
starting over is harder
having a bunch of, or not ors actually. I'm going to change it to having a bunch of ands.
Bad day at school. Then what you're about to go through may be too much. Feel free to go away and come back.
And
all right. Thanks for coming with me on this trip.
Okay, hold on.
I'll understand.
Player X.
Take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and remember to pause the game by pressing play.
Okay. So I'm gonna have player X be more than a number and less than a bigger number, player Y more than a number and less than another number. In order to know what numbers, I'm just gonna show player X and Y. So you'll see I'm at 173 right now. Let's just say player-wise be more than 170. If I'm like up here, it's 211. Let's just say less than 215.
That game in turn was a homage to a free game that
Player
came out in
X, let's just
2002.
say
Both games involved
right,
dragging yourself
more than
onto the
880.
outskirts of a mountain assembled from assets and objects sourced
And
from many other
less
games.
than
It seems appropriate then that when trying to
10,
recreate getting over it in
20.
Scratch, that we should construct our mountain from the same assets used in literally millions of Scratch projects. The unmistakable contents.
Can hide those now. And once I enter that specific rectangle of area, not anywhere around it, but specifically in there, I will win. And of course, you don't need to actually make an entire rectangle. You can just say, for example, if player X is more than some number and player Y is more than some number. And then once I'm in that region, I will win. If you're wondering how to fix the leaderboard, that is not possible because Scratch Cloud doesn't save things for a long time. So the other solution is to use a recording project, because then you can save your runs. One more thing that you might want to know how to do is how to import things from other games or from other projects. So let's say I go to some map. I'm gonna pick the recent one here. And I like this background, so I'm going to... actually, you know what? Wait. I'm gonna grab the level, because that's a little harder to do. I'm gonna grab the entire level. And maybe I'll only use pieces of this in my map, possibly. So yeah, I'm just going to export it. You can also use the backpack, but I prefer exporting. And then I'm going to import... I'm gonna upload the sprite. And, let's see if it's here. Should be somewhere. Oh, that's weird. Where is it? Let's see. Let's see if there is anything at 0, 0. Yeah, there is. Let's see if he changed the positioning. He didn't. Let's see where my player is at. Let's go. Oh. Okay. Maybe I just needed to click the green flag. I guess that's a good way to fix stuff. You'll notice I'm not actually colliding with it. Well, so that's you'll probably be able to figure that much out. You just need to go to the player sprite. You need to go to touch equals touching. And there are 3 instances in which it's touching level. This is some inefficient code right here that I don't like. Touching equals touching. Run without screen refresh. Set touching to touching level. Set, or no, touching equals touching. We'll put that every time it checks whether it's touching. And then set this to touching. Point of all that is just so that when you change this, you don't have to change it thrice. You only have to change it once. So we're just gonna put an or touching level 2. Let me hide that variable. Okay. Now you'll notice it's broken. This was a bug that, for a while, nobody understood. The way to fix it is by changing the layer of level 2. So I'm gonna stop the project, and I'm going to bring it to back layer. It needs to be behind the layer. I'm gonna bring it forward a few times here, and then it should work. Now, is it still in front of me? Go to back layer. Green flag. Maybe I brought it forward too many times or something. Okay, there. There we go. We have imported a level. Very useful. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the basics for map making. Maybe I'll make a part 2 with a bunch of more advanced mechanics, like how to change friction, how to make moving objects. All of that requires coding. And, yeah, I'll just leave you off with what I've taught you this video. Good luck with your maps, and I look forward to playing them. See ya.